I'm back. If you've ever thought that Monday after the Super Bowl should be an official holiday, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. We are back. We're ready to start another amazing week of live trading. I'm so glad to see everybody, and we got a special thanks going out here today. So let's go ahead and get right to it.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Those words have been dancing around my head all night. Oh, it's Vegas lore, that phrase.
All right, folks, I am back from Arizona, and I am ready to attack this market. Before you ask, yes, my trip was amazing. You have some things to discuss here. I got my man 13 in the back. I'm going to go ahead and bring him on. 13, how's it going, my man?
It's going all right. How are you? How was your trip?
Trip was absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to start off by saying that we, without a doubt, here at Benzinga, have the best community of people, not just traders, but people out there. I'm proud to announce that while I was out there, I was able to meet Jay Rice from our chat here and Becca from our chat here, and both of them exceeded my expectations in every possible way. It was absolutely awesome to meet both of you. Turns out Jay is a pretty good golfer. Becca, incredibly nice for showing me around Arizona and making sure I had transportation. It was an amazing trip from start to finish. The golf trip was awesome. I actually did do some trading with my private equity buddy whom I stayed with. That was awesome. I apparently brought the cold weather, but being somebody that's a cold weather guy, I was ready for it and I didn't mind at all. So it was great to have some time off. But there really is an old saying that there really is no place like home, and Benzinga feels like home. So I'm glad to be back in the saddle here today.
Awesome. Well, we're glad to have you back. And we tried to hold it down while you were gone. Hope the chat had a good time, and we're glad to have you back. How's everybody this morning?
And that is, thank you, 13, for that segue. I just want to thank each and every one of you, even if I didn't meet you in person last week. I want to thank each and every one of you for being so kind to our guest host for filling in. We didn't even know that was really going to happen. So again, our community here, it is the best out there. You folks are all extremely supportive, not just of me, but of everything we're doing here. And I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that. Cannot tell you how much I appreciate that. Before we go ahead and dive into the market here today, and boy, we're going to have some fun today. I'm ready to go. So we'll see with this market how much it cooperates with us, but I'm ready to go. Before we dive in, I just want to remind us that our awesome stream here is, in fact, sponsored by Trade the Pool, the best prop firm out there. And if you want to get up to 260K worth of buying power, check out Trade the Pool. Can really help you get over that PDT fiasco or annoyance, if you will. Hope to have Michael back on this week as well. And don't forget, we're going to be bringing Anne Marie on for option segments later in the week. Really looking forward to making 2024 the best year yet. So let's go ahead and dive in. Jay, good to see you this morning. Again, just really want to thank you. By the way, great recommendation on the restaurant. That was absolutely delicious. So awesome. Just so awesome. Real quick, I just want to make sure I get everyone. Good times. Yes, it was. And again, you're welcome, Ryan. Great meeting you, Jay Rice. So there we go. Like I said, community, all positive, all happiness. Now let's take that good energy and turn it into some money-making endeavors. Now, first thing that we're going to take a look at here is going to be the SPY. So looks like not a whole lot changed since I left, frankly. 13 market keeps pushing to new highs. We saw that again last week. Here we are. SPY looks like it's about flat. SPY looks about unchanged, maybe down a little bit, maybe like 15 cents here. We'll see what happens when the market actually opens. But boy, market sure keeps pushing up. What did you notice last week? You got any feelings for this week?
Well, we do have CPI coming up on Tuesday the 13th, tomorrow. So prepare yourselves for that. Last CPI print was 3.4% and core was 3.9. Now we have the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland's inflation nowcasting website expecting 2.9 for headline and 3.8 for core CPI. Now, if we do get those numbers where we're showing a lower print, that's probably going to drive the market into a buying frenzy. That's just a guess, but it's going along with the thought that if we have inflation come down, then it's going to pan out better for interest rate cuts sooner rather than later. At least that's what the market's expecting. I don't think we'll get that. I'm still on the other back half of the year when we see interest rate cuts, but there is still plenty of investors and traders out there that think we're still getting interest rate cuts if we have a good CPI print.
I'm gonna stick with you, 13, straight up. I don't think we're getting a rate cut in March. I don't think we're getting rate cuts till the back half of the year, if then. So I'm just gonna stick with you in that camp on the overall market. So we'll see what we get today. We do have some earnings this week. I know, Alyssa, you produced that graphic, and I, of course, do not have it handy here. Shame on me. Looking ahead here, Waste Management after the close. So they just had very, very successful golf tournament. That was awesome. They report here. That's, of course, ticker WM after the market here today. Tomorrow morning, we've got Coke and Shopify in the morning. And then tomorrow after the close, Airbnb, Robinhood, Zillow. That will be interesting to hear what Zillow has to say about the housing market and interest rates and all of that. And then Lyft. So going to have another big week here. Earnings. We'll go ahead and cover them all. Let's take a look at what's moving now, what's on the watch list here for today. And we'll see if we can set up any trades here. So first things first, I'm just going to go to the movers tool. We'll get some of these small stocks out of the way. Then I'd love to hear some ideas here from 13 as well as the chat if you guys have them. We'll go ahead and cover them. I see a lot of tickers already being thrown out. Let's go ahead and start with BMR, which the chat is talking about. Real quick, let me catch up with a couple of questions here. Did I golf at all? No, unfortunately, this golf trip was about watching instead of playing. But believe me, I made some inroads, and I will be back to Arizona to golf in quite short order, I think. Yeah. And Chuck saying, my daughter runs the Arrogant Butcher in downtown Phoenix. Didn't go there, but that would be a place to check out, Chuck. That's good to know. Appreciate you mentioning that. Okay, let's get right back here. Cleo is excited about BMR. I can see it on his little face. Let's take a look here at BMR. This thing absolutely ripping here. His stock last week was just about $2. Beamer shares are trading higher after the company announced it will present its joint research relating to automated video monetization with Nvidia at the AMC Mile High Video Conference. So an Nvidia name drop here in the PR. No surprise to see BMR up 175% here. Big takeaway for me, 13. I'd like to hear what your opinion is on this. For us to trade this here today, I think we really need to have this cool off and come back into some type of viable level. I don't know that I'm confident in chasing a green candle right out of the open. Maybe you folks had success doing that last week. I'd like to hear.
Yeah, sometimes when they run up this much in the pre-market, there's probably going to be some pullback at the open. I'd be waiting for this too. That's my personal strategy going forward with this one, because it's moving right now. It's making new highs as we're talking. And Crow's making money off of it now. So.
I'm so glad you saw that. I saw the same thing. Out BMR 380 to 6. Crow, you're going to get the cash register ring early on here. One thing that I will say is take a look at what Crow's doing, right? Look at so he 380 to 6, really good movement. I'm sure everyone would be happy there with what $2 before the market even opens. But look what Crow's doing. Selling into the upside strength, right? Not buying up here, selling up here because the entry was better. That's how we want to play some of these smaller names. Remember, these things can do all types of crazy offerings and crazy stuff. When it goes up like crazy, it can come down like crazy too. Crow, I love to see you out here booking gains early. That's exactly how we're going to handle these things. Now, we'll see how this does when the market actually opens. Do have a couple more that I really quickly want to go over. MGIH, this is another one that popped. Millennium Group International shares are trading higher after YC 1926 Limited reports an 88.89% stake in the company via 13G on Friday. So we got a stake here in MGIH. It popped it. This morning we popped again, although it's come back in. Again, let's kind of see where this settles. That stake should be a pretty good catalyst. Don't necessarily know where it's going to drive it, but let's see if this kind of comes back in and gives us a viable bottom here. Let me do a couple more here. DHAI. This is DIH Holdings. This looks like a new issue. 13. We were talking in the back here. Couldn't really find a whole lot about this. Were you able to find anything else? Okay, if you haven't. Looks like this is kind of a newer stock here, so it's really going to kind of teach us how it trades.
Yeah, I ran into another IPO last week, and just I was telling the chat back then, I don't really trade IPOs. There are people that focus on these, that just prepare for them, get ready for them. I didn't even know about this one, so this is not something that I'd be trading or touching. But if you are out there and you do IPOs, this one's probably for you.
So there you go. I'm with you, 13. I kind of want to wait and see how it trades a little bit. Then maybe we can make a more informed decision when the volume starts flowing, when the market is open. Got about 16 minutes till the market opens, so we're doing good here on time. I just want to run through a couple more of these, and then we'll take a look at some of the bigger stocks, maybe some of the other stocks that are moving here. I see a whole bunch of you already have tickers in the chat. You love to see it. Oh, yeah. Wish also popping here. This one, not the greatest company. The stuff here is junk. We've talked about and traded this one quite a bit. Just be careful with this one. Context Logic shares are trading higher after the company announced an agreement to sell substantially all of its operating assets and liabilities to QOO10 for approximately $173 million in cash. Okay,
it's getting bought out.
I was going to say, they're going to sell all of its operating assets. That to me sounds like a buyout, 13.
Yeah. What are they going to keep, the ticker?
Yeah, some of the old inventory. I don't know. Seems like a buyout. I'm not necessarily sure what the price is. Don't trust the stock anyway. We've been kind of maybe not burned, but we've traded this one with mixed results in the past. Not my favorite, but that's what's moving here. That's what's driving it here. CBay looks like this was acquired, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, Gilead to acquire CBay for $32.5 in cash. Stock's currently at $31.90. So that's just the difference there in the deal not getting done. Congratulations if you held CBay into this. Today is your payoff day. I don't think there are going to be any new trades here on this name. A couple more that I really quickly wanted to go over. I saw a couple of people watching Lunar Wiss. I know that you're watching this one here. Looks like we popped as high as 776. We've come back in. We're hovering right under 6 here. Let's see if we can reclaim that VWAP on volume and move towards the highs, up just under 20% here on LUNR. Let's take a look. I didn't see any fresh news here. Just saw some insider buys from Friday.
That's basically it. Just no news. Not really the low floats that I'm looking for. Slightly higher. It's like got 14.5 million shares. So not really a big, but not really small, sized trade.
Yep. So we'll see if Lunar gives us a trade here. BTAI, we've traded this one a whole bunch. This also moving up here. Pretty decent range. Like to see that this really hasn't broken down. Like to see some higher lows here in the pre-market. So maybe a VWAP reclaim here. BTAI could have a tradable setup here today. And then last one that I really wanted to discuss here was, there's one more on here real quick. Joby, right? So Joby here in some news. Joby Aviation shares are trading higher. The company announced it signed a definitive agreement with Dubai Road and Transport Authority to launch an air taxi service in the Emirates by early 2026. Of course, that also, don't forget, ACHR often trades in sympathy with Joby, so we can watch both of those names here on this news today. I actually hold some ACHR, very, very small. It's up fractionally here in the pre-market, so we'll see if that gets another move here. Last one I really quickly wanted to talk about was ARM, and the reason I want to bring this one up is because it reported earnings last week, and boy, oh boy, this thing was absolutely crazy. So the thing was about $76 prior to the earnings, popped as high as 108 in the after-hour session. The next day, we went up to 123.25 or 123.5. Beg your pardon. We've come in from that level a little bit. This was actually a fairly decent intraday short on that particular day. I don't know about you. I think that this is probably a little bit overvalued. Kind of feels like a blow off top, but I've said that about the market and proven to be wrong. So if we're going to be wrong, that's fine, but we're not going to stay wrong, as we have discussed other times. So I have no position here in ARM, but definitely watching that and how it's actually going to react to all of this. So, okay, that's about all I had here from the movers. 13, did you have anything else that you wanted me to cover before I start hitting the chat tickers?
No, I didn't have a whole lot of movers. You just went through all of them. So I'll just be trading those if I can find some entries.
Okay, and we will, of course, be watching the relative volume scanner for any new plays once the market opens. One more thing. Last week, I did take a starter position on SQQQ for a swing trade, just to kind of play the market kind of coming back in. We took a look at the SPY chart. You can see how extended we are. I'm down on that. I think my average is 1160. SQQQ's 1110 here. I'm in very, very small. It was just a starter position, but I am in that. So we'll see if we get any movement here on the Qs. Okay, let me go ahead and roll through the chat here. Let's see, you guys talking about LUNR. We covered that one. BMR. Smoke Tuna taking a look at TTOO. This is T2 Biosystems. Looks like that is popping here on really good volume. Looks like we have earnings in 3 days, the conference call as well. Did we have any news here on this one? Yes, we did. PR this morning receives FDA 510 clearance to expand the T2 bacteria panel. So T2 here, TTOO, moving here in the pre-market. Nice little PR there. Same deal on this one. We want to wait for some type of tradable setup on this one. So good call there, Smoke Tuna. We'll add that one to the list here. Smoke Tuna, you also mentioned LILM. Let me go ahead and refresh Pro. I don't have a pricing quote for this. This one was a penny stock though, right? Maybe. Feel like we've taken a look at that one before. In any case, I'll load that one back up. So Humble Ninja, you're mentioning Snap. They reported earnings and got absolutely destroyed last week. Snapchat here. See, really no bounce from that earnings report. Really kind of sold off down to about 12. Looks like we're continuing to move down. Now the question here is the bottom in, right? If the bottom's in, maybe we do get a little bit of reversal, start a potential gap fill on a cross through 1250 on Snap. We'll see if we can end up getting that to roll here on Snap. SNES is getting some momentum. Smoke Tuna. This is another low price stock here. Looks like we've got a little bit of a volume pop here this morning that popped it, kind of coming in a little bit. Let me get that EMA back up here real quick. Where are you? Intraday EMA. There we go. Oops, wrong ticker.
SMCI continuing to make new highs.
SMCI. So how about this? How about let's also take a look at Nvidia here real quick. Don't have a price quote on SMCI. So here's Nvidia. Let's take a look at the daily chart here. This thing has just no chill. We've talked about this one. We've talked about price targets being all over the board. 1,000, 1,100. It can really kind of just go there. 725 now on Nvidia as this keeps pushing higher. Let me see if I can get SMCI up now. There we go. SMCI vertical doing the exact same thing. Look at the RSI on SMCI. Look how cooked this thing is. And I would imagine at some point there's going to be a regression back to the mean. And if any of the air starts coming out of these stocks, look out below.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty hard fall in my opinion too.
Yeah, and you know we do have Nvidia's earnings coming up here in a few. I forgot we've talked about this date. I think it's the 21st or the 22nd, 21st. Okay, so that's something to put on your calendars. That is going to be a really important earnings report. Reminds me when Apple was on its way up and clearly the biggest company. All of those earnings reports seem to be important. Nvidia is going to be doing the same thing here in a couple of weeks, right? Yep, 2 weeks, just about. So, all right. Becca, taking a look at CAUD. So this is another one of those smaller stocks here. Looks like it's kind of curling off the bottom on the daily chart. If we take a look at the 1 minute, nice looking 1 minute chart here. Nice little pop. We're actually right around the VWAP, so that would be pretty good. If we can stay around there, maybe we get a little bit more juice when the market opens here. Smoke Tuna saying SMCI didn't take it at 90. Yeah, I look back on that one too, and I think to myself, oh my. That was a pretty crazy one. So, all right, looking at the time, we've got about 8 minutes left. What else do you folks want to take a look at? Carmen, good to see you this morning. On the swing trade front, I've been holding EVGO. It looks like the sellers have moved on, could have some good gains as we approach earnings. So swing trade, first question, I just want to confirm, are you looking to hold that to and through earnings? I would imagine you're definitely playing the run up here. To your point about looking like the sellers have moved on, Carmen, it looks like we've got an extremely clean double bottom right here. So this is for a swing trade. This is the level that I'd be looking at, really a flush down and a break of this low here. I've got it eyeballed here at 195. maybe a break of this would probably be the stop, but otherwise, nice little double bottom support here. See if we can actually move back towards the highs. These are EMAs. These are not SMAs. So really what I'd like to see here is a move back towards 384. And if we are able to take that out, perhaps we can kind of turn this around here on EV Go. Looks like you got good entry near the bottom. Nice shout here, Carmen. It's great to see you again. Byron mentioning, sorry, go ahead.
I was looking for some consolidation here in BMR. It's been trading between about 550-ish to about 630. So if we can continue to get some consolidation there, we might get an opportunity to find an entry.
630 certainly looks like the upper boundary there. The other thing, 13 in this little consolidation area that you just mentioned, sure seems like we're getting some higher lows there. Let's see what happens when the market opens. I expect some bigger volume in there. We'll see which direction this actually ends up going. Yep. Rick asking for the BMR float. Were we able to find that one? I've got the float measurement here of 6.7 million. So still pretty low float, but not one of these micro low floaters.
It's still low enough for me. I mean, if it's under 10 million, I'm
absolutely. Good. Yep. And Carmen, you're looking to hold EV Go through the earnings. Okay. Good luck there. Good luck there. All right. Stackin wants to take a look at some of the tech stocks. Of course, Google, that's been one of the popular ones here. Let's take a look here at the daily chart on Google. Looks like it did do a really good job kind of bouncing off of its last pullback. We are in the gap. This gap fills here at about 151. So still a couple more points if this can actually trade to the upside on Google. I know that there are a lot of people that really into this name, a lot of really smart people that I know into this name. So keep that in mind here. Meta, some of these other tech stocks that we talked about this being a potential blow off top. Really, really nice island formation here. As you can see, we traded up, we came back in, we tested the bottom of the island and we held. It looks like Meta's kind of rolling back over here. As long as we don't break the bottom of this island right here, I still think this is a pretty good for a swing long on a swing long trade here. I beg your pardon. I don't like this company. Try to put all that stuff aside when we're talking about making money. Formation here actually looks really good on Meta. So we'll see if that can break out here. You mentioned Snow, D-Dog, and Shop. Might as well take a look at those. I know those are all, don't have a price quote for that one. That is going to break it. Let me go back to that. Here's Datadog. This again, pushing its highs here. Not all-time highs, but 52-week highs. Looking pretty good on Datadog. We'll see if we can actually push above 140. That would be the level that I'd be looking at. And you want to take a look at Shop. Shopify here. Really good looking chart. Looks like this has come off the bottom too. I don't know where the tops are in any of these. The one thing I will say about Shopify is I am noticing the more and more things I order that aren't Amazon or Costco have some type of Shopify payment. So it seems to me, at least from anecdotally, it seems to me that Shop is proliferating. See if that means anything here for the stock. Now, the big one from last week that I know everyone was taking a look at was Hollow. This was absolutely ridiculous. I had actually taken a look at this in the after hours, talking to a number of people. This is just absolutely wild, right? Stock was $1 or $2 and it ended up printing above 50 in the after hours. We've really kind of bled back here. I really caution you to be careful on this one. I don't think this is legitimate. I know we had a huge move here. It would have been great to catch it, but if you're going to trade this one, just be careful, have a plan in case it doesn't work. Okay, let's see. Did we take a look at Rivian? No, we haven't taken a look at Rivian. Let's do that. Rivian down 4.5% here. Rivian Automotive shares trading lower after Barclays downgraded the stock from overweight to equal weight and lowered its price target from 25 to 16. Yikes, big slash there. Rivian was trading at about 16.5. We're down here just under 16, so not necessarily a huge move now. There is a trader in our happy hour show that shorts this all the time, so I expect a nice happy day from him here today. If we take a look at the daily chart here on Rivian, we're kind of near a support level. So to me, it'll be really interesting to see what happens around 15.
I got to say to Lynn Williams, I'm not sure that Hollow is a 1 week wonder. If I'm looking at a daily chart on this stock, and if it's going to continue to do the same thing that it does every time it has these large pops, we're just cooling off for the next one. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen again this time, but it seems like every time we get this big move in this stock, it comes up, consolidates, and then it runs again. So there might be another opportunity here. Just keep it on your radar, but I wouldn't start jumping into this now.
Yeah, I think that's real smart. We've seen these stocks do like to run. It is, of course, hard to predict when that's going to happen, but you can use risk management to kind of trade around that. I see a couple of people mentioning DWAC. Thankfully, one of the reasons I feel so good and so happy is that I've really kind of stayed out of politics for the last week. And as a result, I feel younger and have a little bit more color in my face. With that being over now, looking at DWAC here, of course, we really sold off. We traded back up near the highs. The good news here about DWAC from this particular formation is we seem to be consolidating in here, right? And perhaps we can get a break above 50. I will say, although some of the upside breaks really haven't been working all that well for us, DWAC, one of those stocks, given the backdrop of everything going on and the momentum that it seems to have, we get any type of big volume stick, and you're looking at a daily chart right here. You can see if we get one of those big kind of pops, as big volume sticks like these that pop it, I think we can move through 50, several dollars through 50. So something else to keep in mind there. We'll watch that and see what this ends up doing here. Now, really quickly, we got 30 seconds. Go ahead, 13.
Oh, we just have like a few catalysts for DWAC that could that you might want to keep on your calendar. I think it's the 16th is when the Supreme Court is going to make a decision, or at least they might say something about whether or not he's eligible. So that could be a victory for him. You also have the 24th, which is the South Carolina primaries, where he's, if he beats Haley there, that's going to be a big move. And of course, if Haley drops out, then that's also going to be a big move. So those three events could be big for that stock, and we are open.
Good stuff. You got a lot of catalysts coming up there. You are correct. We are open. Let's see what we can find here. I'm actually going to go ahead and flip over to trade the pool, and when we get, let me remove this. Boom.
There goes. There goes Beamer. Is that what we're going to call it? We're going to call it Beamer. Oh.
Yeah, no, this is me. Producer, help me. Producer, where are you at? Why does this never work correctly? Oh, man, this drives me insane.
Beamer through 7 now. That consolidation was probably our shot.
Okay. Producer, gonna need your help here. Okay, we're going to be on this side for right now, 13. We're just going to mix it up a little bit here this morning. BMR, big pop here going towards 7 on BMR. This really moving. Let me go ahead and pull this up here in Trade the Pool. Let's see if we can get a entry on this name here. BMR, big move out of the gate. So I'm already 0 for 1 here today, as I was saying, hey, maybe we want to wait for this to kind of settle instead of doing it right out of the open. It is running here right out of the open.
It just blew through the last level I had, which was at about 8:05, and now we're probably going to halt.
Halt here at 8:27. I'm sorry about the screen here. We're going to get it solved. I don't know what on earth is wrong with it. I step away for 4 days and I come back and everything is crazy.
Ryan, I have no idea what's going on here. What the heck?
Dude, this is what happens. I step away and everything goes crazy.
It was just working. Hold on. If I go here, you know what it is? Here. You have this as a video, as your camera, extra camera.
Oh, did I? So you're saying I screwed it up?
No,
no. See, and I had it correct.
What's with LAAC Smoke Tuna? I see we've got a pop out the gate here, but it doesn't look like it's really moving a whole lot.
Yeah, I don't really see much volume here on LAAC. I see it up near the highs, but I don't really see much volume here. By the way, Portillo's trading up. That's surprising. SQQQ a little bit higher, although SPY is moving up here as well.
Look at Archer go. That one's tearing it up right now.
ACHR. So by the way, Smoke Tuna mentioning OTLY, that's popping here. ACHR also moving to the high. That's on the backs of that Joby move, don't you think?
Yes, it is. I believe, because the ACHR did have some news last week that it was moving on, but then you have Joby coming out with news today, and that kind of just helped it along. So looking at BMR right now, that consolidation that we were talking about, that was where we should have gone in, but it was pre-market, and I didn't feel good about it. Top TOP.
Well,
the downside. Sorry.
Speaking of top, let's see if BMR is putting in a top here, pulling back now here on BMR 750s. Might end up losing this and moving lower here, but this could also potentially give us a tradable setup here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to wait for on this one. MGIH bled out of the gate. Actually, this one might be interesting.
GIH,
sure.
no bottom yet. SYRA being mentioned in the chat by DS. SYRA, this really running here. Missed entry on this one. I'm just rolling through some tickers until I find a setup here. If you guys have anything you'd like me to take a look at, definitely throw it in the chat. BTAI, interestingly here, kind of sold off out of the open, not really on a ton of volume, but held. So let's see if we can actually reclaim that VWAP here.
Okay, so Bitcoin names are absolutely ripping right now.
What is Bitcoin doing? Let's go ahead and check. Bitcoin at the highs here, 48, 48 and a half. Let's take a look here at coin. That's at highs. Mara, what do you got for me? 13.
Mara's ripping. CLSK, we talked a lot about this one last week. That one's ripping. These Bitcoin names that are the usual suspects, they're doing pretty good today in this out of the gate here.
Tells me that spec money is back. Jay Rice taking a look at VFC, moving a bit on the activist note here. Let's take a look at VFC. VFC, nice little pop here too. Would be interesting, real interesting to see if we can close this gap up towards 17. If we take a look at the daily chart here, a move above 17 actually breaks us out of a consolidation area here as well. VFC. This pretty interesting here, Jay. This is actually a decent setup for a potential swing long. VFC, pretty decent support down here at what, 15? I like the risk to reward setup here.
I traded Mara last week, but geez, look at it go now.
I'm going to add this to a watch list real quick. Let me bring Mara back up. I like this VFC. Let's come back to that. Keep that on my radar if I forget about it. Mara just completely ripping out of the gate here. By the way, Bitcoin futures here still at the high. So that is still moving up here. Oh, really quickly, I wanted to take a look at Tesla. Lynn and Randy, I did not forget about you. By the way, Lynn and Randy, real quick, I did not visit Portillo's when I was out in Arizona. However, I did drive by it. There were clearly people there. So clearly, there are actually more people visibly dining at Portillo's than there were at Dutch Bros or even in the drive-thru for their coffee. So I don't know if that means anything, but I did see that from some boots on the ground there. However, taking a look at Tesla here, I know we were weak all the way in the pre-market. Big pop here, reclaiming the VWAP and moving higher here on Tesla. We'll see if we get an opportunity to trade this one here.
Yeah, 194. It was a level of resistance last week on Friday. It's looking like it's won again today in Tesla. 194.
By the way, Amazon here, I'm just kind of looking at some of the other stocks that I watch frequently. Amazon here looking like this is trying to continue to break out and move up as well. Been a little strong here. You can see on the 15-minute chart, really trading out of the top end of this consolidation area. We had a strong day on Friday. We really kind of held that through the after hours and the pre-market session. Amazon here moving higher. Go ahead.
I was just saying, I just did a quick trade on BMR. I picked up a very, very small amount just to test something. Picked it up at 7 because that was the level that I had, and I traded it back up to VWAP. So a quick 40 cents, very, very small. Didn't make a whole lot.
Here you go on BMR. I'd actually like this to come in a little bit more, maybe 6.5 to get a potential VWAP bounce here. Good trade for you, 13. It looks a little bit spready here on the way down. Would love to see again if this can kind of firm up. Not necessarily sure I want to buy it just up here unless it's at some type of support. Johnny mentioning Nvidia. Let's take a look at that. I noticed that the Q's moving higher here. SQQQ kind of traded down. Nvidia definitely strong. We already took a look at SMCI earlier today. That also, oops, must have typed in the wrong ticker. That is also strong and at the highs here. ASYS smoke tuna, that's one we haven't looked at yet here today. Let's see what that's doing. Nice little curl. This one looks a little bit thin. Maybe a breakout above that 405.
Hey, not a problem, Lynn. I hope my thought that it could run again materializes, but it might not happen until later on in the week.
Byron here. Byron, good to see you here. Went long on LAES under 250. It does look like it's trying to curl back up to the VWAP here. I just saw some size flashed here on the level 2. Right there, 256. So a little bit, not a whole lot there. If this gets broken, especially on a pretty decent buy, this could pretty quickly move. LAES. Jay Summers treating BMR like an ATM. You love to see it. Welcome back. Good to see you, Jay Summers.
It's awesome because it's really ping-ponging back and forth right now. If you go to a 1-minute chart on this thing, you can see just how he's just getting it. I don't maybe I'm wrong about how you're trading it, but it seems like it gets back to about the $7 level, and then you just pick it up there, and then you just out after maybe what 20, 30, maybe 40 cents. How are you trading this, Jay Summers? Because it really does look like you're getting a lot of ping-ponging in here and getting a lot of opportunities. And it looks like this might go a little bit higher here, maybe in the next several minutes.
Yeah, this one's pretty interesting. Good morning, Rustam. Nice to see you. Appreciate the warm welcome back. BMR look like it's trying to break out here from 750. They're taking the size there. Nope, they didn't take all of it. Took about a third of it, then brought in a bid under that got sucked up with the quickness. Let's see if they can break out of 750 here. Still a little bit more size, and I actually see some size being added to that spot as well. So maybe some more being added on there.
Just be careful because if too many people try to pile into that, I think it could flush them all out. They just absolutely trap a whole bunch of people in BMR.
See, and this is 13. This is exactly why one of the things that I would have preferred to see on BMR for a new trade here today would have been a move back down to the VWAP. I feel like maybe we get a heftier bounce, let's call it, or a stronger bounce if we move down towards that VWAP here.
Zim is looking pretty good. That was area to buy. It was under 12.
Yeah, so we talked about that. This one didn't really watch while I was out, but it's okay. Just kind of a small swing here. The intention was to add lower anyway. We were talking about that before we went on here. Zim under that 12, or excuse me, under that 12 level seemed to be some pretty decent ads. Did not get it here this morning, but we'll keep this one on watch. I agree with you, 13. I don't think this story here is done. I think we've got some more headway on this one. MGIH reversal. That was one we were looking for on our list. Good call here, Wiss. Indeed, not only did it reverse, but it took out that VWAP as well.
Oh, is this starting to move? Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay.
Wow. Nice move here. Wiss, I'm a little late to this one. Great call, though. I should have just kept this one on. I should have just kept this one on screen. Taking out some size here at 242 MGIH. This might be moving higher. Yep. 250 here. Yeah. More size lining up, and they're hitting it.
Yeah,
they're hitting it.
I have quite a few levels in this. The pre-market high that we got is I have $3. I expect at least we try to come back and touch that again, but I have other levels above that as well.
Brought in a huge bid here at 262. Oh my goodness. MGIH looking really good here. That pop right there, that was it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And I think we're about to halt. Yep, it halted.
Yep, halted here. MGIH, Wiss, that was an unbelievable call into that upside halt, Wiss. I was not quick enough to hit that, but boy, oh boy, you had that in the chat fast. That is sweet. That is sweet. Great job here. Great job here.
Yep, David, you got it. CLSK continuing from last week. Those Bitcoin names are absolutely ripping. And the higher Bitcoin goes, the higher they all go.
Let me see.
Looking at some of these other ones, because you were mentioning BTI. You know, another one that is, well, no, I guess it's not worth it really. I was just looking at KPTI. It's up 5%, but it's not moving that much at all.
Real quickly here, Hood. I noticed that this was moving here right around the open. Hood, this was actually one of Trade the Pool's stocks to watch here today. Resistance at 1250. We didn't quite get up there. Now they have support at 1150, and it looks like that support, we didn't quite get down to it, but it looks like that level was holding here out of the open. So keep an eye on Hood, especially on a break above 1250 here. We did already take a look at Nvidia as well. Oh, I brought up Hood in the wrong window.
Morning,
here. Sorry about that, folks. Good morning, Judge. Great to see you. Hood here again. Watched a 1250 breakout here on Hood. Looks actually pretty good on the daily chart as well. We've taken a look at Nvidia. We will be back there. Let's also take a look at Unity. This was another stock on the Trade the Pool watch list here. Resistance at 33.5, and we already snapped that here. So this breaking through that resistance. Let's see if this
BMR.
pulls back and holds 33.5. We should be good. BMR. Let's bring it up.
It went down to the 9 EMA on the 5-minute, and it just completely reversed, and now it's ripping.
The curse of the commentator, I'm afraid. I was talking too much. This on my screen, 13.
You put it on your screen, and it comes right back in.
And look,
and now it's back
literally
down.
Testing that. So the curse of the commentator, like I said here, BMR breaking down. Let's actually see if we can play this real quickly here for a bounce. Let's see. It really starts to break down from here. Just want to see if we bounce off this VWAP.
It might just, be a bit of a market pull here. It looks like a lot of things are kind of turning around, topping out a bit. So that could just be a broader market move.
I don't want to make too many people angry here, but I did enter this with a market order. If the snap 650, we'll probably be out of this one. Let's see if we can go higher here. Let's go higher here. BMR. Bounce a little bit.
Speaking of going higher, ARM is taking off.
Yeah, I will flip to that here in a second, but I do want to kind of babysit this trade here. Come on, just give me a little bit more of a bounce here. There we go. There we go. We're going to welcome ourselves up. Came right back in. I was just getting ready.
Let's see. PayPal is actually looking better today. They got smacked down pretty hard off their earnings.
BMR probably should have closed it on that little bit of a bounce there. Getting another chance here.
INBS.
There we go. Oh, they brought in a bid and hit it right away. Come on, trade right back up there. Trade right back up there. You know you want to. There we go. There we go. One more pop. There we go. Okay. Little green on the screen there in BMR. 1 for 1 on that. We'll be back. We will be back. Great call. Great shout. Now, ARM, you were talking about being extremely high.
Yeah.
And of course, I did the wrong ticker there. That was my bad.
Yeah, and as the Crow mentioned, INBS is also halting up.
Okay, so ARM here, we talked about this one, by the way, being, having the feeling of a blow off top. No, not yet. Anyway, it's going to keep going here. 127 on ARM. Really good volume out of the gate here. 10-point move on ARM early. Man, oh man, that's strong. IMBS here, this one halted to the upside, 670. A lot more room to go here on IMBS. This actually, let's see where this opens, but this could move up towards 10. Sorry, 13.
No, that's it. I'm disagreeing with you. Yeah, I think it could go into double digits. If we just get that volume. It looks like, it'd be interesting if we get close a fifth red candle on the 5-minute. I'd be looking for the price to bounce. Let's see if we get that.
Real quick, EKS bringing up a good one here. I think it was Richard.
Oh, yeah.
Trading this just several weeks ago. This is, of course, New York Community Bank, ticker NYCB. This having a good day here. All green candles on this 3-minute chart. We're really kind of trading up here. If you take a look at the daily chart, we dipped instead of trading back up and filling that gap, but it looks like we're trying to moving back up here. This, of course, one of the smaller banks. I'd like to know what you folks have in terms of other smaller banks. What do you think about the sector? Are there any other ones that you're looking at that maybe aren't as involved as NYCB is, or excuse me, that maybe might not be moving around as much as NYCB is yet? Let me know if you have anything else you're watching off of this EKS, or really anyone else that's looking at banks. I'll be honest, the banks have been a very, very difficult trade. I have not figured out a really good entry for this yet. I'd love to. I'm looking over at Goldman Sachs, by the way. I know it's different than NYCB, but I'm looking at Goldman Sachs, and that is raging out of the open here today. So if anyone else has anything on community banks or some of those smaller banks, I'd love to hear it. MGIH, Miles, great call here. This popping to the highs, 13. I'm sorry, I'm rambling.
No, it's okay. I was trying to bring that one up. Yeah, MGIH, it popped out of the halt and then immediately halted again. So this one went through quite a few levels, all the way up through 3 and almost up to my, what is this, 235? I'm sorry, 335 level. So that's the next one I have. I mean, who knows how, this is just the first of probably a few halts this is going to have. So just see what happens with that one. BMR, this one's popped up through 7 again.
MGIH, by the way, that already is the second halt here today. Bounce play here on BMR working. Probably should have stayed in it, but just wanted to get some green on the screen there real quick. We'll see if BMR sets up again. You know, the one thing I will say on these bounces, at least these last couple, they've been really, really quick. I mean, just in the time that we've been talking here, traded up to the top end of that range and already have come back in. So if you're going to trade this one, expect to be nimble. Really quick here, EKS, really appreciate you answering the question here. No interest in the bank sector. But for a day trade, it might be okay. This is where I fit. And I'm sorry, Cleo apparently doesn't like banks either.
I think the bigger banks are going to be just fine. It's the smaller banks and the regionals that are going to have a hard time. And even Powell on 60 Minutes, expects there to be more bank closures. So there you go. If he expects it, then it's going to happen.
Exactly. And that is exactly why I was asking, hey, are there any other smaller banks that you folks are taking a look at? We'll see. Maybe there's a short opportunity in there. Maybe if one of those sells off, there's a bounce opportunity in there. We'll keep taking a look at that. I got to think at some point the bank trade is going to be the place to be.
Yeah, it's got to be after the real estate sector gets shaken out, because I think that's what it is. Commercial real estate, and there's too many loans out there on the balance sheets of these regional banks, and they're not able to, the people with these loans are businesses that are trying to get people to come back into these offices. That ain't happening as much as they'd like. The work from home is kind of here to stay. So there could be some defaults in some of those loans.
Indeed. And that commercial bank exposure is going to be a big thing to watch on some of these banks. Actually, I just talked to a gentleman that was in commercial real estate. It's not great at the moment. Easy Mike mentioning that the banks will be backstopped. And Easy Mike, I would imagine that that's true to a certain extent. But but some of these banks, if they've got really bad loans on their books, I don't know if they even can. What banks are you taking a look at, or what banks do you watch? I'd be curious to hear. Wiss mentioning Lunar, LUNR, that was on our list here from this morning. Wiss already with a ridiculously good call this morning. Let's see if Lunar can actually keep moving higher here. 650 seems to be a spot. I got a little bit more size at 657 on this curl up. Here we go.
So go ahead.
I was just going to say, Easy Mike, just on the follow-up from the question there, wait for March 11th after the long-term bank funding ends. So 13, maybe we'll keep an eye on that day on our calendar.
Yeah. That's good info. I like it. Just looking for the next setup. I mean, we were talking about BMR and that setup that it had, and now it's coming back up. I think you're right about this one. Like, it's just gonna. It had a blow off top. It came back in, consolidating, and then it's trying to push or make the next push up to new highs. Having a hard time doing it at the moment, though.
Yeah, it feels like it's getting a little heavy as it comes up here, right? These last several candles have really kind of wicked. The one candle that burst through it, it was an immediate yank back down to balance. So I think this level in here really starting to firm up. I've got this at 750 on the dot. There was some size there, by the way. So at least at this point, looks like 750, definitely a level here on BMR.
Yeah, they're having a hard time getting over that. That's for sure.
Lynn calling that INBS. The halt is released. So this is unhalted now. Looks like this stopped, what, close to 7 there. Did it print 7s? No, not quite.
No.
But it's holding up here. A little bit of a bid here at 623, right under the current price.
Yeah, where does this where does the drop stop on this one?
Your guess is
maybe VWAP,
mine, my man.
Maybe VWAP.
I'll tell you what, move back down to VWAP would give us a viable entry there.
Carmen, it could. I don't know if it will, but it could. I mean, especially with that news about Nvidia. And then MGIH, that one's now halted to the upside. I think it just halted again. Right?
Yeah, let me just confirm. That's still the same halt here. So that's the second halt of the day on MGIH. But we're going to watch that one, because remember, we've talked a lot about some of those halts, especially ones that go to the third, fourth, and fifth.
And they're unhalted. And and it popped up, and then we got a big red candle.
Not even going to say anything. You know what? That bottom of that second green candle there held, at least so far. This, to me, I especially right out of the halt, unless I'm in it and it's moving in my direction, I really don't like trading these out of the halt. It's just so much back and forth. Just feel like it doesn't put me in a position to succeed. Rigetti being mentioned by Smoke Tuna. We've traded that one a lot. Rigetti, we've got some major wins on Rigetti in the past year. This moving up here. And actually, if we take a look at the daily chart, breaking out of that 140 area, looking pretty strong here in Rigetti. No position for me.
Now look at MGIH.
That is higher. Are we going for that third halt here? Looks like they brought in a bid, 361. Is it going to halt right here?
Here we go. This is fun.
Hey, what did I tell you? What did I tell you right before we came on today?
We're going to have some fun.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we are. MGIH not halted yet.
I'm tempted to try BMR again. There's a lot of bids piling into 7.
MGIH halted now. Third halt of the day. It is an upside halt.
No, it broke down.
Tempted to try BMR. Yeah, to me.
Nope, that was actually it right there. The trade I decided not to take would have been good. Wow.
That's the way the cookie crumbles, my friend.
Yep.
Take a look at some other. I'm just going to roll through some other bigger stocks here. MSTR, MicroStrategy, that's higher here with the Bitcoin move. Noticing some unusual options flowing in here. I'm just kind of rolling through the tickers. Coin looks like a move back to the VWAP.
GME is about to blow.
CRISPR here near the highs. We can check on GME, although I'm skeptical. Actually, decent curl here. Top end of the range from this last pullback here, really kind of put in a double bottom at 1370-ish, 13 maybe 65 here. You know, this actually, all jokes aside, this actually could move higher, especially if we take out Friday's intraday high. I've got that at 1521, so another 20 cents here. The one thing about GME, at least here today, I don't see the volume that I'd like to see. We all know how wild this stock can get when the volume's in there. I don't see that yet. Price looks good at this price level here, but don't see the volume flow that I'd like to see for some active day trading here on this. Not yet, anyway.
Miles, you're wanting to trade Wish? What is going on with? I mean, I know what's going on with Wish, but
it looks like it's curling here, maybe.
Yeah, but isn't the buyout price like 650?
Crocs. Man, yeah. Jay, Crocs, this has been a monster call for a long time here. Crocs having another move up here. Jay, were you still in this? Are you still trimming this position for gains here? Can't remember. If we back out here, sure looks like, let me, auto, there we go. Look on the daily chart here. Look at this on Crocs, right? I know it might be hard to see as kind of a smaller chart here, but you really get the idea. This was really kind of consolidating at the top end of the range. Sure looks like this wants to break out, take the next leg up. That move to me measures between 130 and 140 on another leg up here on Crocs. And it's 110 right now. Jay, this is a good spot. I know you've had some success with this name before. It's actually a decent spot here. Let me take a look at what the options look like.
Yeah, Miles, no worries. We were talking about how they were looking to buy out most of the assets of this company, and it's pretty much a full-on buyout. 650 is the like essentially the buyout price per share.
Here we go. So on Crocs here, calls into the earnings. I actually did see some calls moving through here on Crocs. Did a golden cross 3 days ago. This sure looks higher. This might be a potential swing. Jay, you're spotting them again. Oh, speaking of that, have anyone out there, just on a tangent, 13, if you need to interrupt me, please feel free. Has anyone experienced Kane's recovery shoes? Kane's recovery shoes. They remind me of Crocs because they have holes in them, but like on the actual like footbed or whatever they call it. Except they are awesome. I like them so much more than Crocs. They look better. They don't feel as bulky. They're extremely light, and they're designed to like distribute your weight across the entire bottom of the shoe. Supposed to be really good for recovery. Got my first pair, and they are spectacular. Wonder if they're a Crocs killer. I'll be selling before the next report. Okay, so we're not going to hold that through earnings. We're going to trade it up into earnings. I like this, though. I like this on Crocs.
You know,
Carmen, take care of yourself. Good to see you. Sorry, 13. Good to see you, Carmen. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, Carmen. So just real quick on ACHR, and Joby might be
Yep.
as well. Okay, well, it's already moving. I was looking at ACHR, and I was like, oh, this thing looks like it's going to try to push up slowly all day. It did that yesterday. I'm sorry, not yesterday. It did it on Friday as well. Thinking that might be the case as well. It's now up to 562. It's a new intraday high.
ACHR, this actually looks pretty good. Daily chart looks pretty good too here, 13.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of size there at 572. We'll see if we can break that down. Market about flat across the board. Dow, S&P 500, and NASDAQ all green, but just slightly green. I tell you what, I watched the SQQQ 13. It just goes down every day. It just goes down every day. The market is just like, nope.
And then we're going to get an amazingly huge green candle one day.
An SQQQ, you mean? Yeah, at some point. I can't tell you when it is, though. That's my problem. Can't tell you when that is. Bitcoin, 49K on the Bitcoin futures, 49K crossing through that. 50K would be a huge level for Bitcoin. I'd be really curious to see what happens to some of those Bitcoin stocks when we get up there. Let's do a real quick check on some of the Bitcoin stocks. Coin here. This, by the way, is if you can get good entry on Coin, this is a great trading vehicle, calls or shares. Moves a lot, can make you a lot of money here on Coin. So keep that in mind. Mara. Same deal. Riot.
Man.
Same deal. MSTR.
Yep.
Same deal. All highs here.
So MGIH about to open, says Miles. And then also I'm looking at BMR. This thing looks like it wants to break out. Oh, okay. Well, as I say it, it's starting to.
Here you go. So remember, we talked about this last time. 750 clearly the spot. 750 clearly the spot. Wiss, I got black, and the sole is like black with colored speckles. They look clean, real clean.
Man,
TTO
BMR.
or BMR may be a move back here to the view app. I'm going to go right back to it, but I want to check out TTOO. Crow been calling that one. That was looks like that tried to push away from the view app here. It sold right back to it. We'll see.
Man.
Like mentioning Root. Let's take a look here at Root. Oh, wow. This thing, big mover here on Root.
Did that finally short squeeze?
Oh, this was a short play. That's right, 13. We talked about this one too. It's up almost $2 here off that rip here today. Volume actually looks pretty good here on Root.
Yeah, this one.
Hey, thanks, Now. Good to see you again. BTDR, this is BitDeer. Sydney, this is one of your Bitcoin plays here. And actually, this looks like this might re-challenge the top here. BMR?
Sorry. Yeah, there it goes. Finally did it.
Okay, so it did break through that 750 here. I've got a little size here at 804. That was no match. BMR going higher here. Holy smokes.
Yep.
Holy smokes. So I guess I should have just focused on trading this one here today, right? We were 1 for 1 early, should have stayed in this one. BMR ripping here. If you guys have this from earlier, at least pay yourself on the way up here, I feel like.
Thank you, Sal. BMR
Crow's target $11 on BMR.
It's going to halt. And come on, show it to me. There it is, halted.
Halted, BMR. MicroStrategy calls getting bought. Riot calls, Nvidia calls, AI. Oh, those are puts. Those, excuse me. The Nvidia and the AI option flow there were both puts. The Bitcoin names getting calls though. MSTR on here, Coin on here. So we're seeing some more option paper flow in that.
So basically, MGIH and BMR, the two big ones we were talking about this morning, they're halted.
Yep.
I think people are looking at these.
I think that we identified some of the early movers, didn't we, 13?
We may have.
We may have a couple of them. We may have found a couple of them. Also, another stock to keep your eye on here, Costco. Costco having a little bit of a down day here today, but as you can see from the 15-minute chart, we really kind of traded into a support area. So 717 here on Costco. We'll see. I still like this for higher. This is still my favorite store out there.
Have you ever tried to look at stocks the day after Super Bowl if they had like a Super Bowl commercial?
Yeah, I feel like a couple of times. I can't seem to make sense of that. Which one are you looking at here?
Oh, no, I was just thinking about some of the commercials.
Let's talk about that real quick. When you started that, I of course pulled up the betting stock. 13. I know in happy hour we've talked quite a bit about DraftKings. I think Penn was another gambling stock being mentioned on like a Super Bowl play here. Now, this is not really a big move, so I don't want to infer too much that's not here, but it sure looks like, I mean, this kind of maybe a sell the news. It's really down after the Super Bowl. I know I bet. I had fun betting. I didn't do very well, but I had fun betting. I know a lot of my friends bet, even a couple of friends that don't normally bet threw some play money on the game. So I know that the betting interest was there. Penn higher, DraftKings lower, neither move really huge here. Seemed to be like a sell the move event for the Super Bowl.
MGHI open or IH, I mean.
MGIH is open.
Yeah.
Looks like that popped higher and then pulled. This might be going higher here, though. MGIH.
Yeah, I think it is. And there it is.
There's the new high.
There's all my levels that I had. The only other one that's left is from IPO at the high there was 463.
Crocs. Oh my God, Jay. Since Jay mentioned this morning, Crocs has 2 more points higher. Just from today. This candle, when we talked about this before, we were right in here. About $10. Another leg higher here on Crocs. This thing's a monster. Now this is now breaking out of that high from what? I had that at mid-December. Crocs, I think this might go higher here, Jay. This is another good one.
And they're popular with the younger generations too.
Yeah, I'm telling you though, Canes, dude. Oh my gosh. I don't want to be a fanboy. I don't want to be a fanboy. But Canes, for real. They're awesome. All right, let's take a look here. What else are we seeing out here?
I'm just waiting on BMR to open.
ILAG, I know that popped last week, came back in, popping again here, but not really on anything to note. LUNR, let's take a look at LUNR. This is actually pretty decent, building above that VWAP there.
SYRA has not come back up since it made those highs in the open.
Dennis Dick is long. Yeah, I tell you what, I'm going to have to start following you guys as the Crocs indicators. You guys have really been hitting that one. And I got to take my dislike for the actual Crocs product. I need to put it aside because there have been opportunities to make money on this name alone going over the past year here.
It looks like ARM might be just consolidating to make another up move. It's got a hold.
Holding the VWAP right now.
Yeah, I think it's got a hold above 123 though.
Okay. Well, we're building above that. Let's take a look here. You have any upside targets on ARM 13?
Nope.
Okay.
It can do whatever it wants.
Because it's breaking out. It's going crazy. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Smoke Tuna mentioning that Nikola is moving. Is that a truck being pushed downhill, or is that? Oh, I see. The penny stock here is popping. I'm sorry, I couldn't not make that joke. IGMS, another one being mentioned here. It's another bioscience that to the highs. I don't know what's going on with this one here. Chart looks good on the daily though.
I hate Crocs so much. I bought the stock either hoping to make money or.
So okay, so I'll highlight that comment. This is world ranked. I can appreciate this, right? This is almost like a hedge. You hate a company for whatever reason, and you say I'm going to buy it. And if it goes up, well, this company that I don't like is at least making me money. And if it goes down, well, at least the company's going down, right? I try not to let my emotions get into trading because I seem to do it more poorly when I do that. But I feel you on this one. I don't like Crocs either. Plenty of other really good products out there.
That was basically my strategy with Apple when I held it for a year.
There you go. See the Apple.
So I like it. Yeah,
I joke around with Apple folk all the time. Look, the trade is very, very simple. Own Samsung phones, own Apple stock. That is the way to get the best of both worlds, in my opinion. But I don't want to make too many Apple users here angry. And by the way, I am looking into getting a MacBook. So just keep that in mind.
They were paying me when I had the stock.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Those dividends are great, dude. Okay. Lynn, bringing us back down to earth here. INBS high at 709. Actually, INBS here. Let's see if this can break out here. 710, that spot. If we break out of this, I think this probably goes higher here. Giving this one to you before it moves here. So place your bets. Does this break down or break up? Because I don't think it's going to stay in this range for the rest of the day here. Good shout there, Lynn.
Yeah, we had traded this one back at the beginning of this month. We traded this one, looks like last week. When it was getting all the way up to 1170, and it could probably go higher now, maybe into the 14s, maybe.
Crow saying Amazon refurbished store got gaming laptops for cheap. Not the first time I've heard good stories from an Amazon laptop refurbishing program. I generally buy my electronics new because that's just the way I am, but this is not a bad tip here.
Looks like MGIH is trying to push higher. It's been holding this 380 level pretty well.
Sure is. Wow.
It's waiting for BMR to unhalt. Still hasn't done it yet.
Looking around here for some other stuff. Look at this. LSCC. Lattice Semiconductor. This was on the relative volume scanner. What's going on here? Actually, LSCC. So this is not a bad formation here on the daily chart. Looks like we're kind of running into a potential near-term triple top here. Had that at about $72. Looks like today LSCC traded up towards that $72 and kind of stopped there. I'm going to watch this one here, LSCC on a potential breakout. This, again, this kind of just goes with some of the other chip names here. This one, interesting. Options, not very liquid, unfortunately, on this. The near month, the March contract is pretty good. The February contract is fine, so good for shorter-term trading here. Interesting. LSCC. We got to watch that one. I don't pull this one up enough when we talk about some of the different tech names.
Yeah, Mara just pushed to a new high. I think CLSK is trying to do the same. What is Bitcoin at right now?
So Bitcoin's still strong here. Bitcoin above now 49,265 on the Bitcoin futures. That continuing to move up here on volume, by the way.
I think we're going to, I don't want to say we're going to hit 50K this week, but I mean, we're this close.
It sure feels like we might have 50K test today, 13.
No, maybe. That'd be wild.
That sure would. AAOI being mentioned here by the Crow. This was a smoke tuna call. This was a masterful call from my last week, maybe the week before. AAOI continuing to push higher here. Supplied optoelectronics. That's a cool word.
Bitcoin just relentless. There's nothing but green candles all day.
So I'm saying that 50K test, it's coming. You know what this tells me, though? This is good. And when Bitcoin trades up, I'm looking at the market here. Let me actually get, so everything is green here. Bitcoin leading, IWM leading. That to me tells me that spec money is still flowing here. There are still people buying some of these names. How many times have we discussed the real big names being the things that are holding up the market? And if those start to crack, look out below. Well, now we're actually seeing some movement here in some of the smaller names acting well here today. Bitcoin doing the same thing.
Is this correct? The volume that we've had in the SPY today? That can't be right.
Let me check.
Let me refresh. Because if that is true, that's wild. I mean, it's wild because it's so low.
Today's 12/12. I have the volume at 4.8 million.
4.8 million. That's low. Oh, okay. BMR's open finally?
Yeah, it is low. You're right. That's after the opening print, too.
Oh,
BMR.
my God.
Oh, my God, on BMR.
That's the one. That was it right there.
So was the stock du jour. So I'm going to talk about this because this is actually something that I was discussing as recently as my Arizona trip. Here's one of the things that I am going to try to do here. When we take some of these trades, I might try to go in a little bit more and leave trailers for this type of thing. Because if you can pay yourself on the way up, you can stay in these names. It's going to make this so much easier to trade. I'm at the point where I want my shares back. I didn't do a good job. I know I made a green trade here, but look at the move that this thing just did. So I think we can try and capture more of these by adjusting the process instead of just saying, oh, shoot, I missed it or I bought the wrong stock or something like that. So that's going to be on deck here for what to do going forward here. VFC from Jay Rice telling us about that activist move earlier here. That's still printing highs. VFC. Yeah, looks like it totally filled this gap now, finding some resistance here.
BMR is going to be fun this week. I can just feel it. I think it was Carmen who's going to do a swing. She might do well.
Look at this. We need register rings for the chat here. Jay Wild hitting it.
Yeah.
Jay Summers hitting it. Will all over it.
I've been hitting. I hit BMR twice today in the consolidation. None of these moves that they were making now. I'll get it. We'll get it. Here, I mean, I'm green for the day, so that's good. But it's not very big.
Me too. I'm actually doing well in all my accounts, which I used to. But anyway, doing well in all the accounts. The one thing I will say here in another discussion is the whole like missing it thing. Like, it's important to not, when you have something like let me actually pull the chart back up here. When you have something like BMR, like I definitely feel like I missed it. But one of the things that I'm telling myself right now is I know I'm going to get another opportunity. So instead of crying over spilled milk, I'm thinking, how can I adjust my process to better capture these going forward? There's always going to be more of these moves. Always, always, always. So don't worry if you miss one. You will get another opportunity. The more you can understand about what took place and what you did today, it's going to help you going forward here.
And MGIH is now looking like it's halting to the upside again.
450 here on MGIH. This was almost a very, very clean bounce off that VWAP on a pullback. Oh. They didn't hold it there, so it's not halted here on MGIH.
But that was a very long stop in price action.
Benjamin, dude, guess what? You get a cash register ring too. Awesome trading here, folks. Awesome stuff here this morning. This is how we come back from that Super Bowl hangover. We come back and make some money in the morning. Absolutely love it.
I got a little bit of that going on myself. CLSK, wow, new highs, 1610. Same with Mara, 2621. And Sinclair Broadcasting Group, remember this one, SBGI?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
This one's a ripper too.
So, you know what was interesting about that? When we talked about that right here on this breakout from this little like kind of cup formation, broke out, nice little trade. They killed it. And now here we go, bouncing back towards that level. So this story might not be done, especially with the election season heating up here this year.
I wonder if DWAC put a bottom in it.
Crow saying it's his 1 year anniversary till he joined Benzinga. Well, Crow, congratulations, man.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. Did you have a cake or cupcakes, or you probably have a beer, huh? You're probably cracking open a cold one right now. Anyway, we're glad to have you here, Crow. Thanks for making a full year. Looking forward to many more, my friend.
Oh, you're right about that, Jay Summers. Like with all the things that I'm looking at, I should be slowing down and looking at or focusing on one thing or two things. But there's just so much to look at right now, and you guys got to play some trades. I got to call them out. I got to tell you what I see. And right now, I still see consolidation in ARM. That one might. I don't know. What do you think, Ryan? You think ARM is about ready to make a move here?
Let's take a look. Let me bring it up here. I mean, to me, I don't, let's put it this way. I don't think we just kind of close here, right? We've got a fairly decent range here. Top side of the range, I've got this at 128. Bottom side of the range, I've got some pretty decent support here. Let's call it 124. We did wick down to 123, so maybe let's call the area 123 to 124. I don't think it's going to stay in here, right? I don't think it's going to stay in this range. I think we're going to end up breaking out. Now, given the recent history, 13, my vote would be that we break out, right? It's going to work until it doesn't work here. I still think there's some strength in some of these names. They can go on longer than it seems logical, if that's the correct word here. If I were a betting man on this, I have no position, but since you asked me, I would bet on this to break higher.
So it's also looking like everything is kind of pulling back a bit here. I just cycled through a bunch of stocks. Everything has a currently with a red candle right now. So
including the SPY, by the way. So SPY rolled over off that initial move here. Let me bring up an intraday chart here of SPY. You can see we were talking, it was about flat. It was staying green. Well, now we're kind of rolling over here on SPY. SPY is red, but by 10 cents. So let's not read too much into that. We did have a green red move, but it's not a whole lot.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look at something here with the SPY, because that amount of volume that we've traded today just seems so low to me.
Yeah, it does, because it's already encompassed the open, right? We normally see a lot of volume around the open. We'll see what happens at the close. We do have some earnings today, but it's not like a huge amount. I agree. It definitely seems like low volume here on the SPY. Maybe more
CPI.
Super Bowl hangover for market participants.
I think maybe it's that. I think it might just be they're waiting for CPI tomorrow.
There we go. Or a combination of those two. Tonga saying BMR with 95 question marks. Yes, we're saying the same thing. We actually have been looking at BMR all morning here. I think we both traded this here to the green side. It ended up going bonkers. So I wasn't in there for the bonkers move. But yep, we're absolutely taking a look at that.
BMR, Benzinga Morning Ripper.
Hey, you love to see it. You love to see it. This is going to be let's go. I like that. I like it a lot.
Mara with a big pull. What's going on with Bitcoin? Are we going down? Yeah, we went under 49. Oh, wow. What happened here with Bitcoin?
Looks like just kind of a pullback off that run up.
Yeah. I mean, okay, that would make sense, because it was a relentless run up.
I don't think I have I don't have Bitcoin quoting here and trade the pull, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Looking around. So Amazon, which was strong in the morning, that's kind of turned around here. Apple's actually at the lows. Let's take a look at some of the stalwarts here, because this is really, I think, what's driving the market here. So you can see Amazon was looking strong earlier, really starting to weaken up here. Apple's kind of been weak all day here. Netflix really hasn't done much of anything. Really kind of holding in there. Some of the other tech stocks that you folks were asking about earlier, Meta has been strong here. Now this did reverse and pull back, but it just pulled back to the VWAP here. Meta's still rolling. Let's take a look at Google as well. That was another one that you folks mentioned here this morning, that moving lower. Google. Nash Trading said Bitcoin new 52-week high. Is it really? We really haven't been above 49K in a year?
Yeah, Google was one of those ones that didn't break their 52-week high when they were having that run up after October. I think it was I think it was Microsoft and a couple others, and Nvidia and Meta, I believe. I think all the other ones didn't do that yet. But I'm just looking through an hourly chart here on the S&P 500, trying to get an idea of how we opened.
I'll be damned. I'll be damned. Nash Trading, you are totally correct here on this. The high that we snapped here this morning looks like the high from March 29th. Oh, that was of 2022. March 23. Yeah, we are definitely in 52-week highs. The most recent high we took out here was from January, beginning of January here. So Nash, you are absolutely right. Big one on that. New 52-week highs here in Bitcoin. Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, because prior to that, I think, well, no.
You love to see. Okay, Joseph, well, welcome. You're going to get in fact, you're going to get another one. And you're going to get the Mario 1-up for leveling up here today. Joseph saying, today is my first day on Benzinga. We don't have the H, but it's probably a typo. I don't know much about trading yet. You will, because we've got a great community here that are going to teach you things. BMR in at 671, out at 1139. Cheers,
BMR.
fellas.
It's unhalted. Sorry to interrupt.
Yep, all good.
And we're probably going to halt again.
That looks like that moved up here. Do we get a downside halt here on this one, on BMR? By the way, Joseph, as you're seeing BMR kind of come back in, I guess it is going higher here. Good job booking gains early on. What I would say is when you review your trades, log all of your trades. And then when you go back and look at them, see what worked and what didn't. Keep doing the things that work and cut the things that don't. That would be my Oh my God, BMR higher here now, 13, 14, almost 15 on BMR here. Holy, can I get my shares back 13, please?
Well, I'd like them back too.
It's like, nope, that's not how it works, guys.
Yep.
That is not how it works. Good stuff here, though.
Time to break out the fib. Just find out how high that one's going to go.
Thanks, guys. Made some change in BMR.
Nice.
Hey, look, I love when we get these rippers. The one thing that I will say is that when we get rippers like this, they don't always keep going. So be careful. Always have a plan in case it doesn't work out. But on days where it does work out, don't be afraid to pat yourself on the back. You took the risk. You pressed the buttons. You deserve the congrats.
Yeah, and if we're thinking that this is going to be another hollow, just remember how hollow traded the first day when it started its whole campaign from 1 to 50. It had a pop. Oh yeah, there you go. There's that one.
What did we say? It wasn't going to stay in this area. I said if I was a betting man, it would break up. We did get a break out of that. Let's see where it pulls back to. ARM moving here. Good stuff there.
Yeah, so
good stuff.
That was ARM exactly that we were saying. It was setting up with a great pattern. Had a nice bull pennant. And then we were just mentioning the highs and lows of where we wanted to see it hold, where we thought it could break out. Ryan put it to you guys succinctly. It was great trade.
Real quick here. I want to. Did you have something? Sorry, I didn't mean to run you over there.
No, it's okay. I was just going to go back to BMR and MGIH, but BMR, man, break out the fibs if you think if you want to see how high this is going to go or where the levels would be.
BMR just absolutely wild. Really quickly here, C-Sig Pizza. First of all, anything with pizza in the name is a winner in my book. Welcome. No love for ANF. No, I straight up, this is not one that I would have ever thought to buy. Someone would have need to literally pound me over the head in order to buy this one. I mean, Abercrombie, I haven't been up on Abercrombie since high school, and that was many moons ago. What I will say here, you take a look at this chart. This has been a absolute monster. This would have been a great, just throw a bunch of this in a swing trading account. I mean, oh my God, Abercrombie continuing to print highs here. Look how this thing just, this is incredible. No love for this. Here's no love because I don't own it. Wish I did though. I don't need the, all like the posters and the loud music in Abercrombie, but man, oh man, this stock would have been a good one to hold.
What happened in May? Is this earnings? There was like May 24th. It seems like that was just the absolute beginning to this whole huge run. So I don't know. Oh yeah, it was earnings. They must have had some huge guide or something. That
just shows you what fundamentals can do here when they matter. Shows you exactly what they can do. Abercrombie. Actually, Jay, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that you had mentioned this when we were talking about Crocs the first time. Maybe I'm misremembering that, but I know a bunch of people have brought up Abercrombie. Was not on my radar. Jay saying, Ryan, I see a lot of retail green today. Abercrombie, Crocs, Target, etc. We have seen that. In fact, there was another one here. How's some of the other like kind of crummier stocks doing? Like Macy's.
Is that that this is interesting because that means we're getting a run up into the retail numbers. Because retail sales come out on Thursday.
Great spot, 13. Great. So what do you folks make of that? Trading up into those retail numbers. Might that be a sell the news event? Might that kind of confirm the trade that we're seeing?
Mm-hmm.
Jay Michael.
Nice.
Just hit my day's profit target. And Mary, you guys are going to wear out my register ringing button here today. And I absolutely love that. I will do nothing to control you folks. Awesome stuff. You guys are absolutely crushing it here today. Keep it going. Jay Michael, big win.
BMR trying to push to 15. It's at 1498 and coming back down.
Let's see if that 15 gets broken there.
Yep. That's the level. Oh, it just took it out. And there it goes. Another 50
Jay, the other interesting thing here, real quick to kind of finish up the comment here on retail. The other interesting thing here about this is that Amazon does not seem to be following the trend that you correctly identified here, right? Amazon, of all of the names that we've looked at, really, really weak. Now, I'm not sure, or really weaker, I should say. Maybe you don't consider Amazon a what word did you use here? Retailer. It is an online retailer, really kind of bucking the trend. Those brick and mortar stores seem to be doing better here today. How's Walmart doing today? I know you mentioned Target being up here. Walmart's about flat, but still green here.
That's great discipline, Jane.
Yep, I was just going to say, Jane here saying BMR and MGIH were both good for me today. Jane, ring that register. Now it's time to sit on my hands. Discipline often overlooked. I agree with 13 here. 13, how many times have you and I talked about, okay, we've traded this a whole bunch here this morning, but you know what? I'm going to put it away and walk away, make sure I keep the gains in my account. How many times have we done that?
Oh, plenty of times. And we've also done that plenty of times where we've seen the stock run afterwards and we've just had to sit on our hands. It does what it does after we're done. But when we're done, we have to stay done, you know?
And you have to stay disciplined. You can't have an outsized move, then alter your trading plan, because that's when mistakes happen. And that is what we want to avoid at all costs here. ON, another retailer here, this moving higher here. So, this is going to be something to watch for the rest of the week. Does retail continue to trade up here? This is a good spot. This actually could give us some things to talk about once we see how this plays out.
MGIH could go here. We got it's starting to have some more volume come in, but we just took out a level of sell orders, so it might start moving up here.
Chain saying it's hard to sit on your hands. Indeed. And that's why people actually talk about sitting on them instead of just keeping them at the keyboard, because even easier to break your rules if that's the case. If you sit on them, I can't press buttons. Yeah, Jane, been there. Understand.
Yeah, and I think to Jane's point, look what BMR just did. It went all the way up to 1689 and came right back in to 1334. That's a big move.
Yeah, and this is one of the things I know we talk. I'm trying to mix in stocks from all different backgrounds, if you will. I know we talk a lot about some of these smaller stocks because they rip on a daily basis. But what 13 is telling you about right here is extremely important. When we see these things move, they're almost certainly at some point going to move the other direction. And it's going to be really, really important to have a plan to not sit in that, right? Don't let a good trade become a bad trade. This is why, again, don't be afraid to book gains, especially, I want to use this term, but I don't want to offend anybody, especially on some of these crummy stocks, right? Like, this is not Apple. This is not Nvidia. This is not some of these bigger stocks that we know and love. These are all over the place, smaller stocks. So just be careful. Understand the added level of risk that you're accepting.
Mm-hmm. And MGIH shook out some weaker hands down to VWAP, and then it went right back up. So this one doesn't seem, and I agree, Smoke Tuna, this does look a little bit weak. It doesn't have the volume I think we needed, but since it shook those weaker hands out, it's starting to look like it's getting it now. Look
what it's doing now. For the price action looking really good here. To your point about the weaker hands being out, that might allow it to go higher here, 13. And let's see, are we going to get volume expansion? I know we had this volume really kind of contracted on this way back down. Do we expand now? Maybe move towards those highs? MGIH, let's keep that one on watch. MGIH and BMR, the two big names on the scanner, by the way. Yeah. So we were clearly on board with that.
Whatever happened with DHAI? Did that ever do anything today? That was one of the ones we were talking about today. That's the one that had the private. No, this was the IPO one.
Yeah, so this this is the one we talked about in the pre-market. Didn't have a lot of news. This seems like a newer issue here. This is what, the third day of trading? Second day. So we did kind of move up here, but we're right at VWAP. I think there's probably not enough information out there on this one yet. People are still kind of figuring out how it trades. That'd be my guess.
Yeah, I'm just going through the very short list that I have today, and it just seems like everybody's too focused on BMR and MGIH. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of other movement in some of these other names, save the Bitcoin ones,
Yeah, no, you're right about that. Netflix, by the way, for all of you that like to trade Netflix did the same thing that we just talked about on ARM. It was just kind of consolidating and compressing, and now just kind of broke out of the top end of that here on Netflix. Pretty decent move here. Looks like about $3-4 move here already on Netflix.
Mara went all the way back to, it went back to my VWAP, and it just reversed and went high. And it's going higher. It's going to go higher. It hasn't broken the 26.21 high that it made about 25, 30 minutes ago, but it's very, very close to doing that.
Okay, so real quick here to the 1690. So Betty Boop. Nice handle, by the way. Do you guys also have a weird daily or 4-hour chart BMR? So if I look at the daily chart here, I do have this big candle, but that's because BMR really kind of popped and came back in. It's really kind of carved out a huge range. As far as a 4-hour chart, I'm not sure I have one. Let me see if I've got one
Benzinga
here.
has a 4-hour chart.
Yeah. Let me. Oh, you know what? I killed my screen share. I'll fix this. I'll fix
new
it.
highs in Mara.
13, keeping me honest while we're gone here. Okay, so here is that's great. Oh, wait a sec. Can I just? Oh, darn. That would have been so cool if that stayed there. I'm trying to figure out this production stuff. Here we go. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at this here real quick. You were saying on BMR, take a look at the 4-hour chart. Let's do it together. 4 hours here. So it's very, very similar. So the candle that you're seeing, the weird looking candle, is because of the huge outsized move it's made here today. Benzinga Pro has this up 500%. Folks, just keep that in mind when you're trading some of these, right? A stock that's up 500%, it's not uncommon or weird by any stretch of the imagination for this to pull back significantly. And if it does that and you're trapped in one, it could be trouble.
Unless it's hollow, then it's going to just absolutely make your year.
Well, remember, there's two parts to the trade, right? Getting it is one thing, but getting out of it with the gains that you have is the other. And that's something that we want to make sure. And some of these, it can be very, very difficult.
The RUM bounce is the Bacardi move. I like it. Getting another mention on GameStop. I see a formation here, but the volume is just pretty low.
Yep, all about the look. If we've learned anything from GameStop in the past, it is the volume, right? When the GameStop traders show up in force and the volume reflects that on the chart, look out, right? We've seen it a whole lot, including the initial move here. But to your point, 13, I agree with you. The levels look pretty clear, but we're not having the volume to really kind of take those levels out. We're still kind of in a range. Now, that could change in a heartbeat, but so far, that's where we're at.
Let's see. Snow had some good moves after it shook out weaker hands, but it's so slow moving. Riot made new highs. BMR is kind of holding up in there. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just commenting. Lots of stocks kind of changing their direction here.
Yeah, we had that
still lower near the lows.
We had that poll earlier, and then after that, it just set up to go higher. Mara's now higher. I'm sure CLSK is higher as well.
Hey, let's take a look at POW here, 13.
Yeah, how about that?
So, okay, so real quickly, I'm not sure we've ever really discussed this thesis on this show. Sometimes I get happy hour and live trading mixed up. So I apologize. Yeah, I apologize if I'm repeating myself here. Real quickly, POW, ticker POWW. This is ammo.com. This was originally, we've traded this one before during COVID, back and forth. We recently hypothesized, and when I say we, I mean mostly you talking to our happy hour crowd here, hypothesizing that POW might be a great play for 2024 as conflict and all the crazy stuff that happens during an election season. If that picks up again, you might actually see some more moves here. We did recently have earnings here with POW that were pretty good. Stock trading higher here. I am long this in my main account for a swing. My average price was 242. So here we are at 268. Remember, we were trading this fairly actively when it moved back towards that 2 level.
Yeah, and we also have armed conflicts around the world. I don't know that it's going to move the needle too much on this. They did donate 1 million rounds to Ukraine when that war started breaking out, but I don't think they've got a whole large number of military orders. They have some, but it doesn't make up a huge segment of their business yet. I think the biggest segment that they have is just manufacturing rounds and their gunbroker.com website.
So, and Gunbroker definitely popular. So anyway, this swing here, we've been in this for a while. Again, my price here is 242, so don't chase it. We're above that price now. There were months where this was just hanging out between 2 and 220. You could have bought up all you wanted. So this is an interesting one. I'm going to be long this through 2024 here. As far as a target goes, I would definitely shave. If this got shaved the position, if this went to 100%, I would definitely take half of it off and kind of ride the rest here.
Yeah, I'm gonna look to get out mostly out of it around 450 or 5 if you get up there.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty good. Okay. What else were we looking at? I feel like there was this steady user. Great question here. This actually could be a fairly interesting discussion item. What about Apple after the Vision Pro release? And I'll give you my thought here real quick. I'll be brief and I'll turn it over to you. I feel like the Vision Pro, even if it is revolutionary, it's very, very expensive, and it's on that bleeding edge of technology right now, right? So you're not going to have huge numbers or huge volume of orders for it. Maybe it does transform. So I don't think that this is a needle mover yet.
Yeah, I every time I look at this thing, I just go back to the Oculus, which is Meta's headset that they've had for years now. Really, what it's going to come down to, in order for that to be successful, is if they have enough content on it, whether it be games, the ability to stream, or just to use it in general. I don't know what all the uses are for it at the moment, but if they don't have the content or the apps to drive that, it's just a wasted piece of technology, I think.
Yeah, and you know what? I hesitate to say this, but I think that our group here is mature enough to handle this. I saw a report last week that I had a nice little chuckle over with one of my friends, and it was about how there were Apple users upset that they couldn't use their goggles for VR porn. Now, you might laugh at this. You might laugh at this on the surface, but don't forget, going all the way back to the beta versus VHS wars, the format wars, porn has dictated the winner of that. Now, I'm not making a prediction either way, but I'm just saying that you were just making a point about content 13. It'll be very interesting to see how this pans out in the future. Just something to keep your eye on. Just throwing it out there, folks.
It really starts to make me think of all kinds of jokes about Apple. Like, what are they, pimps now?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to stay away from that, because what the goal of what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to relate this to a point in time where we had formats or a new type of product, and one went by the wayside, the other flourished. And I think that we might have something like this. I don't know if the goggles are going to be a big hit or anything like that, but just something to keep your eye on.
I get it. Mentioning Snap here, this was up almost 9%. I think it's just because it's, it had low RSI. It's coming off a bottom. I guess there's some other news to it as well.
Well, Snap, remember, this is actually fairly interesting for a potential trade. They had earnings and got destroyed last week. Snap may be above 245 here on a potential gap fill. Did we have fresh news here today?
Yeah.
Shame on me. I didn't even check.
We did. They're repurchasing principal notes and for 2025 and 2026.
Yep. So Snap shares trading higher after the company announced that it entered into various privately negotiated repurchase transactions. 13 just gave you one of those. There's 100 million aggregate principal amount of 2025 notes. There you go. So that is the news here. Snap on a potential bounce back. We'll see. Maybe it gets, I don't know if it fills that entire gap. By the way, Bitcoin, folks, Bitcoin above 50K now on the future.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Huge move here. Let's check the Bitcoin stocks, coin highs. So these were also, probably some of the bigger stocks to trade here. MSTR, MicroStrategy at highs as well. Mara, same deal. All of these stocks pushing highs. Let's check Riot here. Big moves on all of these names here.
Yep.
Mike, thank you very much. That I forgot about that. Mike calling here. Snap had a Super Bowl commercial also. Right. So good call there, Matt.
Yeah, I thought that was a funny Super Bowl commercial too. That was the one where they were trying to say that Snapchat is not social media. It's social media.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's social
It's media, and it's all about sharing with other people. That is the definition of social media.
Yeah.
By the way, what was your favorite commercial from the Super Bowl? And chat, what was your favorite commercial?
Just because I laughed so hard at it with, my friends were laughing at it with me. The Michael Cera one with CeraVe. Oh, it had some really good one-liners in that commercial. I'm not going to repeat here, but I was falling out of my chair on that.
Yeah, that one was pretty funny, but I gotta say, for me, the one that takes the cake was the Dunkings commercial. Ben Affleck, Matt Damon making fun of themselves, bringing in Tom Brady,
Yeah.
talking to J-Lo. You didn't even need Post Malone at the beginning of it. I mean, that commercial to me was the top. I laughed the entire thing. The way I judge commercials, if they come on TV and I'm not pissed, then they're good, right? Because generally speaking, I hate commercials. I'd watch that commercial over and over again. That was my favorite.
Matt Damon, it's really hard to be your friend.
You said you'd support me.
BMR.
Favorite commercial was turning down the volume. Oh, Lynn, just absolutely cold-blooded with that, but been there.
BMR is got some consolidation going on here. So I don't know how long this consolidation will go, but this is the kind of thing that you want to see if you're expecting this to move up higher, to hold these levels. So we're doing that for now. But yeah, that was my favorite one. I thought it was just over the top ridiculous. But to get come fully back around to what we were talking about, Snap, I don't think the Super Bowl commercial was as important as this buying back debt. I think that's much bigger.
I would agree. I would completely agree with you. Johnny, do you guys think Nvidia keeps going up?
Sure. Why not?
I mean, at this point, I would be stupid to say no. At some point, this stock's going to come back in. But AI is clearly leading the way right now. The market is moving up on AI. Nvidia is the darling. Every time I think there seems to be a top, it's not the top. It goes higher. So, I mean, yeah, we got price targets all the way up to 1,100 here on Nvidia. Stock price is currently 736. So, absolutely, it could. Now, another question.
I've been asked a lot, when is this going to stop, or are we near the top? And if I said yes, we're going to reverse, or yes, we're near the top, I would have been wrong so many times. So I'll just stick with the right answer that's been the right answer, and just say no, we're going to keep going.
And by the way,
I like to be wrong one more time.
You can be wrong, but remember, don't stay wrong. That's one of our mottos here. SPY crossing 500 now. Anyone got any target on where they think the SPY stops?
It's going down. Or is it up? No, it's going up.
No, it's going up. 501 here on the SPY print. Looks like we actually took out the high from Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we did. Looks like
MGIH might be trying to reverse. It just bounced off the what is this? 342, 343 level, and it's coming back up to VWAP.
Johnny's saying, I said it wouldn't go higher than 400 a few months ago. Yeah, I tried to short it at 500 via NVDS. Look, this didn't work. Invest in muscle. There we go. That's invest in muscle. Invest in yourself. Good handle there. Target is 5,100 on your S&P cash. So your SPX price target here, 5,100. That would be what, 510 on the SPY? Or thereabouts?
Yeah.
Sounds about right to me. Mike giving us some targets here, 502.5 to 505 on the SPY, right? So when I ask you guys for S&P targets, I don't care if you give me futures. I don't care if you give me S&P cash. I don't care if you give me SPY. I should be able to figure it out, even if you don't specify. But I think this is in the range here too. Let's see. What's up?
BMR. It's trying to break out of that consolidation.
So here we go. Another consolidation break to the upside. When does it end here on BMR? Go Steve. This is a great question. This is actually something that we talked about briefly in the happy hour last week. Let's bring that discussion here today. Do you think they would do a stock split on Nvidia? Given the huge move here, do we think maybe even after the earnings, if a split is possible?
Well, when is the last time they did a split? 2021. They did a 4-for-1. I mean, Sure. I mean, the one I thought was going to get split next was Microsoft. They haven't
Yep.
done one in a long time, and I think they're due to do one. But with the price that this Nvidia stock is at, I wouldn't be surprised if they went ahead and did another stock split at some point.
I wouldn't be shocked either. I don't think we're going to get that in this particular report, but at some point, I wouldn't be surprised if Nvidia split. I think it would be more appealing to the retail investor if that were the case, Steve. So I'd like to hear what you think on that one.
BMR could not close above 15. It popped above it, but it couldn't close above it. So
Jay here mentioning real quick, Nvidia does have a history of splits here. I know you just took a look at the calendar there, 13. Let me see if I can do this. I'll probably have trouble getting it back here. Here is your splits calendar powered by Benzinga Pro. You can see we've done in 2000. We did one in 2001. We did one. So they're showing you that it needed just over a year for them to do a split again. It wasn't for another 5 years that we split after that. Then again, maybe a 1 year waiting period, and then another 5 year wait. You see a pattern developing here?
Yeah, I was just thinking that. There's a bit of a pattern. Yeah.
So Steve, you might be onto something here. You might be onto something. Maybe we do get an Nvidia split here. I'm just speculating. I have no idea for sure if this is going to happen, given the way the price has moved, given how AI is completely entrenched in everything we do. By the way, I was laughing my ass off. The new golf clubs this year from Callaway, they're called the AI Smoke. They literally put AI in the name. They said that the faceplate was designed by AI to give you more forgiving. I find it funny that AI seems to be proliferating into everything. When we go to the drive-through and the AI is taking your order, look out. That might be the top. But to your point here, Steve, yeah, I do think this could split. I have no knowledge about it. I think retail would eat that up. And I think initially after the split, it probably would trade higher. This is good. Good question there, though.
Smoke tune AI coming out. Ooh, can't wait.
Here we go.
All right.
Let's look at this relationship here. This has been a big winner. Jay Rice, you've been on uranium for a long time. It's been a huge winner here. Jay saying pairs trade in uranium has got me scratching my head. Both LEU and CCJ, my favorite of the basket while we're on the topic here. We're trading around 47 to 50. Both had earnings. CCJ made 15. LEU made 358 and the stock went down. So you're saying that the reaction here really kind of head scratching. LEU really beat much better and kind of traded down here. I don't know much about the whole like uranium like process, like getting it out of the ground and bringing it to its final destination, what's involved in all of that. I also didn't comb through the report. 13, maybe this is one that we should ask about in happy hour because I feel like uranium, I feel like we've talked about uranium here before. Interesting though.
And then we could bring what we find out back here. You know, tell him what we discussed. Unless he wants to be part of that discussion. You want to join us for a happy hour? Let's see, CCJ.
Yeah, and you know what? The uranium thing here, I don't think this is done either. I know we've had some moves in this one, but I think there's going to be more talk about the uranium stuff. Mike saying he likes UEC for the uranium. That's another name that we've mentioned. For the smaller price one, we've also mentioned quadruple U, right? UUUU. That down here at about $6.
Yeah, I guess I just would be curious how LEU managed to have such a huge EPS beat. There's a fundamental reason for that. You know, I'd have to read through the report to see what that was.
Yeah, I don't have that off the top of my head here.
So I can look into that. I wrote it down. All right. Looks like things are starting to cool off a bit. BMR is not cool enough though. That one's above 15.
MGIH is back down to the VWAP. SNES popped here a little bit. How about Lunar? Wiss was on that one earlier.
Is SoFi about to make a new high of day? I'll take a look at SoFi. It looks like it's certainly trying. Those upper shadows make me think it might not, but it just really needs volume to push up through that that 483 level, because it looks like it went up to 43 once, came back down. That was the high after the open. We tried to break through it again, got rejected, and now we're coming up a third time. It looks like it could go if we get the volume. If we don't get the volume, then we're not breaking through that 843, and we're going to come back in to VWAP.
Oh my God, look at ARM, the chat all over this ARM. That not only did it do what we talked about earlier, it's going to break up or break down. It broke up and it has not stopped. Volume looking good here. Lots of buys here. I mean, man, this is really moving. ARM moving, not good for the SQQQ. But again, I'm so glad I took that small. Oh my gosh. And it's serving as a great hedge yet again, because my regular portfolio up despite the unrealized losses to SQQQ. Judge, take care of yourself. It's great to see you this morning. And real quick, we do have 8 minutes left here. We're going to be hanging out with you all the way till 11. We do have the Trader Bacon show after us, following us. Redirect's already set. You don't have to do anything. So that's coming up next, but we ain't done yet. We still got 8 more minutes here on a Monday. Bitcoin still no chill. 50,125, the high on the Bitcoin futures. And then INOD, here's another one. We've talked about this one quite a bit, 13. This, again, I don't want anyone chasing this name. This has been a swing for me for a long time. I first traded this from 3 to 11, or 380 to 11. My rebuy on this, my current average, 667. This sure looks like it's going to take 12 out. I think INOD wants 13 to 15. We'll see if we end up getting there.
Yeah, I never got my... Oh, Hollow's going. I never got my fills when it came back in. This didn't go low enough. But at least I'm in IDAI.
It looks like Hollow popped and then came right back to the VWAP. Hollow, I don't think it has the volume yet.
Doesn't really look like it.
Lynn said, I had fun and a lot of butter chicken with Zunaid while you were gone. Well, if you're having butter chicken, you're winning no matter what. So that's good to hear. BMR, are we making moves here? BMR, new highs. Oh my God. The spec money is alive. MGIH still holding around that VWAP. So if you think this is going to move here, MGIH, this might be a spot. 389, some big size. We'll see if they chomp it. MGIH.
Yeah, they're going to beat this up. I think this is going to be halted soon, maybe.
BMR, excuse me.
Yeah. I mean, it's still getting some price action. The volume hasn't gone to the lengths it needs to in order to get halted yet. Yeah.
BMR still moving. The trade that hasn't gone yet is MGIH, though. Watch that spot there with the size. Rico saying BMR is going to 20. At this point, I could totally see it. I mean, we're only $1.30 away, for heaven's sake.
Yep. Yeah, so SoFi, just to go back to that, it got rejected again at that 843. Like I said, we need the volume in order to get over that 483 area and through 850, because it looks like between 840 and 850 there's a lot of sell orders, so we're going to need a lot more volume to come in and start chomping at those and take those out, but until that happens, low volume, and I don't think you're getting through 483.
BMR. This is the big ripper. And then, the other thing to keep in mind is, watch the after hours, right? This thing, now that we've seen what it's done in the morning, I mean, I know we still have an entire afternoon session to get through, so let's see what happens. But keep this on deck for your after hours play. Remember what Hollow did, $51 in the after hour. Jay here saying Hollow still think single digits by end of week or next week. And honestly, I wouldn't be shocked. In fact, if we were taking a look at the daily chart earlier on Hollow 13, when you were making a point about it, and it did exactly that, right? Popped huge and then went all the way back to where it was. So to Jay's point here, I definitely think single digits are coming here. Really only $7 more of downside until that's here. Could easily see that here this week. But in the meantime, We're holding up here, and we're having some other runners absolutely go.
Yeah, I got into MGIH when you guys were talking about it being next to go, and I have a stop now, so no losing on this trade. I'm in at 384. Stop at 390.
Nice. That's the thing. I was flipping around, didn't buy, but that's okay because the plan looks like that worked out.
You got me into this one because as soon as you mentioned it and I looked at it and I was like, oh, this looks great. So I took a chance here.
And now it's going higher here. That's what we do here. So we do here 423, a little bit of size. We'll see if we take that out here.
I'm just going to raise my stop and just take half off the table. Well, I have my stop out. I'm going to look at something else. Oh, I just got stopped out. So there's that. That trade's over. Stopped out at 4. Looking for POW. POW went all the way up to 270. Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's get over 3. I don't remember who it was last week saying if it gets over 3, it'll be very interesting. I agree. I want to see it over 3 as well.
I like the volume here too. I mean, like if we look at the daily chart, you recently have kind of a volume pop here. Would love to see it take some of these levels out. This looking good here. This really looking good here.
Wow, BMR went to 1939.
I mean, we were getting calls for 20 earlier. We're just a stone's throw from that now.
Yeah. I think you're going to get that.
I think you're going to. I wouldn't be surprised if you got that here. Bitcoin's still ripping.
It looks like Zim. The volume's kind of low in this right now, but it's got an interesting setup here. Like if we break 1222, this is going to get some legs.
Okay, it was a good call. That? Good call on those ads under 12, by the way. Those are already paying. Hasn't even been a day.
Yeah, we had an open. Sorry, go ahead.
So no, it's fine. SPY and futures market continuing to push to the upside here.
Duke, you can see the bids and asks if you have order book. I'm using level 2 order book. I also have a price ladder that shows me that where those sell orders are as well.
ETAI curling back up to the VWAP there. So, okay, folks, we got about 30 seconds left here. So we are going to send you over to Trader Bacon. Remember, you don't have to do anything. We will automatically send you over there. I'm going to wrap it up right here. I got to say, though, just kind of want to reiterate here. First of all, thank you to all of you for being such a great community and helping Andy and 13 really kind of, and Alyssa really kind of hold down the fort here. Really, really appreciate it. Love to see it from the community. And then again, thank you to Jay Rice and Becca. You folks are absolutely awesome. It was a pleasure meeting you. Look forward to continuing to do that in the future. We're going to send you over to Trader Bacon, folks. Have a good one, and we will be right back at this tomorrow. Take care, everybody.
Take care.